So, are we in an AI bubble? So, over the last few days, you can see that the stock market has tanked a bit, but it's starting to recover. If we go back 6 months, or even say year to date, you can see that in April we had Liberation Day. This completely tanked the market. However, things have been steadily recovering up until probably last week. So, we're just looking at the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq is tech heavy, so it has your Nvidias, your Apples, your Amazons, all the big tech companies within this average. So you can see here it's been going up, but last week something did happen, and it caused the Nasdaq to drop. So what happened? It was Nvidia, the golden child of AI. They released their earnings data, and it wasn't as good it was actually as good as expected. However, there were inconsistencies within the data. So if we go back, you can see here that it peaked around 206 at the end of November, and now it's steadily sort of going. Sorry, at the end of October, and now it's steadily going down. We're midway through November, down to 177 bucks. So what happened? Well, if we're using AI to make our life easier, to do analysis and to do all the grunt work, of course, when financial reports get released, even though it's NVIDIA, it's going to be able to smell out inconsistencies within the data. So the thing that spooked the market was the so NVIDIA was selling the chips. They were selling the chips, which were great. However, the customers were not paying. So the DSO numbers, which was how long it takes to get paid, was increasing. So it looks like the average days of when NVIDIA sends out a chip to when they get paid actually went up. So it was 57 days in the latest reporting data, and this was deep, deep, deep. You can see here by this person, hidden in the 8th page of the 10Q filing. So approximately 54 days to get paid, whereas between 2020 to 2024, it was only 46 days. So it doesn't sound like much, 7-8 days, which is not too bad. However, when you compare Nvidia to the other chip producers like AMD or Taiwan Semiconductors, TSM, you can see here that their DSO days are a lot lower. And when you compare it to Nvidia, you can say, well, it only takes these companies, between 42 to 44 days. Now it's taking Nvidia 54 days to get paid. Of course, if chips are sold on credit and something goes wrong with the person buying it, the longer or the higher the DSO days are, the more of a risk that that customer is not going to pay for those chips. And if those chips, say one of those customers is not going to pay because they can't, something goes wrong, those chips are now effectively secondhand. So they won't be able to sell it at the price that they originally sold it to that customer for. They're going to be secondhand chips. Those secondhand chips will be sold to somebody else at a severe discount, and this is what's sort of spooking the market. So on top of that, we had because of this, we've had the mood sort of changing. So people are turning risk off, especially AI. So anything that's sort of connected with the AI boom or craze, energy, energy stocks as well as other chips like Broadcom, any infrastructure providers, all have been coming off the boil because of this. So on top of that, to make matters worse, you've also got Michael Burry, which is the famous guy who shorted the markets or the property markets in America during the GFC and made a ton of cash. He was known as the Big Short, and he's basically come out and has been looking at the data and has made a lot of big short positions on Nvidia specifically, as well as the rest of the AI boom. So this is not helping because this guy is seen to be one of the people that can see bubbles and he can short the bubbles. So for anyone that doesn't know what shorting means, it just means when you buy. So normally when you buy a stock, you hope that the value of that stock increases in price. You make a gain. So you buy a stock for $100, it goes to 150, you make $50. However, when you're shorting, you're hoping for the exact opposite to happen. So in that example, if you short something at $100 and it goes down to $50, so it loses $50, you make the $50. So this is essentially what this guy did during the GFC, and now he's calling Nvidia out and saying, "Hey, what you're saying in your financial statements are a load of waffle. We don't believe that you're going to be able to continue these projections that you're saying, including some of the revenue that they're forecasting out to 2030, which is a long, it's 5 years away. It's a long way away. So he's basically calling their bluff and saying, hey, I don't think your shares are worth as much as the market is paying, and I'm going to short.